Hey, good evening, everyone. John Henry Soda here. Welcome to the JHS show. Tonight, I have an amazing singer, a very, very good friend of mine. I've known him for a very, very long time. Awesome, awesome performer. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Julius Dilligard Jr. What's up? How are you, sir?
What's up, John? I'm good, good. Thanks for inviting me down.
Oh, this is my pleasure. Pleasure. Yeah. So I know we were talking right before. We had a little bit of a sluggishness going on in the system, but we're gonna push through this, and we're gonna make this happen.
Oh, sure, definitely.
Cool. So I think it's been a while that we've actually seen each other, but we've known each other, I would say, over 20 years easily. Easy. Sure. And I've seen you perform so many times, and it's always been incredible. Is that yours?
Let me turn this off.
Yeah, all right. That's
okay, that's a done deal.
So I've seen you perform so many times. It's always been incredible. So it's really an honor to have you here, and really to talk about the world of singing and performing, the industry, dealing with people, all the stuff, the ups and the downs. I want to try to dive into all of it as well. I'm going to play some of your music as well, which I'm really excited about. And let's just dive in right now. So where are you originally from?
Originally, well, where the story goes, I was born in Harlem.
Nice.
I lived there for about 3 years. And the way the story goes, you got to realize I'm a very literal person.
Okay.
So my dad told me, we used to walk along. We lived about 103rd or something like that, and he used to take me and teach me to walk, get me to walk along the side of Central Park there. And he said, once I learned to walk, we moved to Brooklyn. Okay. In my mind, I'm thinking, this dude made me walk to Brooklyn. Get out of here! I'm like a little kid.
You're like, yo, I better start working out.
I mean, talking about some leg muscles. Anyway, that was a great line. I just felt so good about this, thinking, just remember my dad like that, because he just communicates stuff like that, and he made it seem like we walked to Brooklyn.
Right.
So anyway. So once I was in Brooklyn, I'm a Brooklyn boy. I got my Brooklyn hat on, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See? I told you.
Brooklyn in the house.
Brooklyn in the house, born and raised. I went to school in Brooklyn. I did my first vocals. I used to here's the deal. My father had a club. He was like a member of a club, social club. Back in the day, they used to do bus outings and all kinds of things with the churches and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they would also give dances. Like annual dances. So I had a group at the time called the Premiers. And the Premiers, it was 4 of us at the time, and we idolized the Temptations. And we also, at that time, the first show I did actually was, we did a little Anthony and the Imperials. Now, this is before your time, John. I'm sorry. I'm kind of dating you a little bit.
I do know all these guys, though.
Yeah, Tears on My Pillow.
Of course.
So we wound up at the Apollo Theater, amateur night, came in 3rd place, just I'm in junior high school. And
wow.
Boy, the Apollo Theater was like, okay, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but they have amateur night. And backstage, just before you walk out, they had this old tree trunk.
That's right, you had to touch it before you went out,
and you're supposed to touch this tree trunk. And you're not supposed to forget to touch the tree trunk.
No.
So all the artists That's a no.
No, it's
So
huge. You can't. The Sandman will come out and drag you out if you forget.
hello. So you're downstairs in the basement with all the other artists waiting our turn to come up to go to the stage, and I'm going to myself, I can't forget to touch the tree trunk. I can't forget to touch the tree trunk. You know what happened? So premieres, okay, we go out on stage. I walked right past the damn tree trunk. But then I went back, I hit it real quick.
Oh, that's good.
My attention was just so on performing.
I'm sure, yeah.
You know?
Especially at the Apollo.
Oh my God. But we came in third place. So I had a win. I said, hey, we didn't get booed off, you know?
Right.
But that was my first experience with that.
Yeah. So life in New York, you know, I mean, my daughter was born in Brooklyn, actually. You know, I got that. I was born in the Bronx, and I'm a New York City guy. But how was the scene back then that you remember the music scene? You know, it was so different like when I was there. You know, I mean, I was playing during the early 90s, you know, that was the grunge era, I guess, whatever, you know. So
John, basically what you missed the Motown experience.
I know.
Okay. I'm talking about 1964, 65. You know, people sometimes, I tell them how old I am, they go like sometimes I go to the bus to say, okay, I'm a senior, and the guy looks at me like I'm trying to pull a fast one.
Right.
So it's kind of a nice acknowledgement. But back in 1964, we had the Temptations, the Supremes, the Four Tops. This is when they were first coming out with these songs.
Unbelievable.
I heard My Girl when it first came out.
Unbelievable.
So, I mean, I remember going to the beach with my friends, you know, we had our girlfriends, and we listened to Sugar Pie, Honey Bun. You know that I love you, can't help myself.
Right. Oh, man.
I mean, this was the vibe. It was awesome. The 60s was awesome. So that's what, you know, my experience was always, I got to say, you know, you hear this sometimes, you might have heard this, music saved my life.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that music saved my life because I grew up in a rough neighborhood. You know, I grew up in Fort Greene projects in Brooklyn, Fort Greene projects in Brooklyn. And they had a lot of, you know, quite a few gangs and some things like that. But somehow I knew everybody. But somehow, you know, I used to play trombone too. So somehow I think, nobody said this to me, but I think because I was a musician, singer, it was like I got a pass. If you know what I mean. In other words, I didn't get pulled into too much crap. I have my days of trouble. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But for the most part, I didn't really get involved. I mostly was out of the projects, doing my thing. I was into music. Do you know what I mean? So I would see everybody. I'd see the muggers and this and that, the guy, and I knew him. I said, "Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? How you doing?" They go, you know, I might even stop and smoke with them for a moment, but that's about it.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta keep the vibe going a certain way. You know, you can't totally individuate. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you know, it's funny. We sort of have the same experience because I grew up in the South Bronx during the rough 80s and the 70s and 80s, and but I played guitar, so for me it was sort of like, you know, they see you with the guitar walking around, it's sort of like, oh, that's, you know, little John, and, you know, with the guitar, you know, and I also was a little break dancer when I was a teenager and stuff. So I knew everybody, just like you know, I knew everybody, but I didn't get involved in that world. But they knew who I was, I knew who they were, and it was like, it was okay. And you're right, it's sort of like, you know, I think it has a lot to do with the arts. You know, like when you're an artist, you operate on such a high wavelength that you really do impact people's lives without them even really knowing.
Exactly. I think that's totally what it is.
Yeah. That's amazing. So what do you remember the age when you realized you were like, hey, I could freaking sing, man?
Well, I tell you, you know, back with my dad with his club, he used to play like Nat King Cole, Johnny Mathis, Frank Sinatra, Donna Washington. He used to play all these nice, really jazzy, you know, mellow pop things, Johnny Mathis. And I would just, you know, I'd sing along with them. And I don't know if I thought I could sing then, but I actually got into it, you know. And I went to the High School of Performing Arts.
Oh,
That's where that movie Fame. You ever heard of the movie Fame?
sure, sure, of
Back in
course.
the day, I went to that school, and
In
we had a
sweat.
great time.
Yeah.
We had a great time. Just actors and dancers. Actually, when I was in there, the guy that choreographed Thriller was a senior, and I would
Oh,
see him. I'd see him in
wow.
in the dance department stuff. So I knew different people, but I
Yeah.
saw him when I saw Thriller. I said, "Oh, it's so and so," But
Wow.
anyway, I forgot what I was saying.
About singing.
I went to
When,
performing arts.
yeah.
Yeah,
And did
and I
you,
went there on trombone.
oh, okay.
I went there on trombone because my trombone teacher at the time, he's kind of going, well, you can audition on trombone or voice. And at that time, here's my literal thing again. I
Right.
said, no, I'm gonna audition on voice. I knew I could sing then. There you go. I knew I could sing then. I said, I'm gonna audition on voice because I don't want them to do anything to my voice. I don't. In other words, I was thinking if I got classically trained, I would come out, and I go, not that I don't like that stuff. I love a lot
Yeah.
of that stuff. Some of those guys
Yeah.
got great voices, man.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't me.
Right. Right.
So I said, whatever they're gonna do, they're gonna do it to my trombone.
So you were thinking, that's pretty high thinking at that point, just going into
It's
school,
true.
right? Absolutely. So how was that
But I
experience?
got into
Yeah, yeah.
I got into performing arts and I made great friends. And we did talent shows. We did all kinds of stuff there. Mostly, I was in high school and I was going like, why do we have to do this academic stuff? I just want to do music,
Right. I know.
I wasn't interested in any of this other stuff, But
Right.
we did it anyway,
Yeah, yeah. It's part of,
schooling,
right. So when you got out of school, did you go like sort of to a with a band? You start off with a band. Or did you do trombone, or did you go into
Okay.
singing?
Well, I went to Queens College,
Okay.
and I joined. I was kind of co-founder of a group called Stone Free. We called ourselves Stone Free Liberation Band. We had 3 horns and a rhythm section, and
Right.
we were playing we were doing like Jimi Hendrix kind of songs,
Oh, okay.
but with horns.
Wow.
And I was the lead singer.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
I used to kill Angel. Angel came down
Yeah.
from heaven yesterday. Oh, I love that song. We used to
Yeah.
do that song with horns. So that was my first group there. And later on, when I left Queens College, here's an interesting thing about your mind, or what you want to call your positive. There's a word, postulates. Like you kind of put something out there that you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to do, like one of those people do this around New Year's time to say, I'm going to, like a resolution, I'm going to do blah, blah.
Right, right.
I'm
The
gonna do,
decision you're making.
Well, I told my girlfriend at the time, I said, this was after about 3.5 years at Queens College. I said, you know what? That's it on this college thing. I'm leaving. I'm gonna join a band and just find out what's really going on, because I see what this is.
Right.
I mean, I see I could get a degree. I see I could, but I want to find out what's really going on. That's it. I'm leaving. And you know what? And I used to carry my trombone with me in my leather bag. Less than a month, I was on the train, and this guy comes over to me. This bald head guy comes over to me, and he says, "Hey, you play trombone?" I said, "Yeah, I play trombone." He said, "Hey, well, my band is auditioning trombone players. We almost got a record deal. Blah blah blah. Would you be interested?"
Wow.
That was Crown Heights Affair.
Wow.
So I passed the audition, of course, and we wound up on RCA Records. And one of my first songs I wrote was got on the first album.
Wow.
So it was interesting because I just said, I'm gonna join a band, find out what's going on. I just kind of matter of factly said it.
Right, right.
It wasn't like any big like I gotta find a band. It was like, that's it on this. I'm gonna join a band. I'm gonna find out what's really going on. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I found out what was really going on too.
Wow.
It's not all pretty.
Yeah, yeah. The industry is really tough, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, the best part of the industry is when you're on stage performing,
Right.
or for me, or when you're creating your songs.
Right. The rest
I mean,
of
the
it.
other parts, I don't want to say it's 100% negative, but
Yeah.
you know, it's about that mighty dollar, right? So,
Right.
you know, temptation is a, you know, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it does things to people.
Yeah.
Who did that song? I think the OJs that talk about money, money, money.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Can do all kinds of things to people.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
do you remember like an obstacle that you had to over? I mean, you kind of gave me an amazing thing there, because you had that intention where you said, you know, I'm just gonna go do this. You know, I'm not gonna do school. I'm just gonna kind of go do this. And I think that that's such a powerful thing that we all have innately in us, that we don't have to go around overthinking stuff. You know, because that first thing that pops into our head is usually right. You know, and
I
it's
tell you, yeah.
yeah, and it's really a powerful thing. How important was that moment to you? Because you really, even though the business is what it is, right? It's a little bit, you know, there's ups and downs in the industry, but you got to do it at that level. You know what I mean? And that's like an
So I got
amazing.
to do it at that level. It was a game changer. I mean, like, it's like this really, I mean, I knew I paid a lot of dues. I've been in different bands. I've been in, you know, as a trombone player, I've been in playing all kinds of music. I was in orchestras. I've been in bands, you know, jazz band. I used to go to Jazzmobile. I had a lot of experience. So, you know, I passed the audition for Crown Heights, and they had a singer, they had a lead singer, and I heard him, and, you know, fine, their lead singer. I knew I could sing, but I didn't want to, you know, say, I'm in the group now, you know.
Right.
So they were working on a new song. They were working on a new song, and somehow the writers of the song and the singer, they weren't coming together with the thing. Somehow he wasn't getting the idea of what they wanted. And my mind is thinking, I'm a composing person, right? So I'm listening to this song, and after a while, I just said, you know what? I think I know what you guys want. I forgot what I said exactly, but I said, you know, can I try it?
Wow.
So from that point on, I became the lead singer, and you know, the other person was, you know, dismissed.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, I didn't plan it that way. It's
Right.
just that, you know, they were going for a choir. I heard the song. The song was great.
Yeah.
I said, oh, I think I got this song. Actually, and the song, I think this was "Dreaming a Dream." "Dreaming a Dream" was the big hit that they had. We had a big top. Was in the top 40, the dance and R&B charts, Billboard charts. Yeah, I mean, like, and I have this thing. I can tell, not that not an ego thing, but I can tell. I notice over time, I can tell somebody that's good, a good artist, and I can also tell a song, that's a good song. I can tell. I said, oh, this is something. So, and I turned out to be right. That song got us, because we wind up, you know, with the record deal, and you know, I toured with them. I did stuff with them for a few years, and then then the negative stuff kind of started to surface. Then that's when I left. That's when the other thing I was talking about.
So
you know,
I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that moment, because artists struggle so much with their insecurities on, you know, because whatever societies, whatever. But you had that moment where you kind of raise your hand and say, "Hey, I think I can sing this." That's not an easy moment for a new guy to come into the band.
I'm
right?
a new guy. I got this whole band is there. This guy's been there singing for a while, and he wasn't a bad. He was good.
Yeah,
he was good.
But,
you know,
but don't you think that it
just wasn't?
Yeah, and don't you think that it's like mostly like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Don't you think that it's also like just you know, instead of being worried about what might happen, you should be worried about what might not happen. You know, just take that leap. You know, because,
you know what?
You know, and just communicate it properly, because communication is really the key element. Is how you communicate that. You're not gonna go. You didn't go in there and say, "Hey, I could do this." You know what I mean? You know, you raise your hand and say, "You know what? I think I know what you guys need. If you got, you know,
exactly,
maybe, you know what I mean." And if there's a little bit of humility behind it, it really reads through. And I think that actually is a big part. And a lot of artists struggle with just raising their hand and say, hey, I think I can do it, and that's a really debilitating thing.
Yeah. Because it could have backfired on me. The managers or the writers could say, no, you're just a trombone player. Just stay in the horn section, or whatever.
Yeah.
But they were open to it. They were open to it, and but you made me think of something.
Mm-hmm.
You made me think of something when you said something about the artist. It's kind of like the sensitivity of being an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we were doing a show. I don't recall if it was Baltimore, Boston. I think it was Boston. And down the street was Earth, Wind, and Fire performing.
Whoa.
And we were performing in this other place. And, it was crowded. We had a good crowd, everything like that. It was music magazine people there and everything. And we did our set. This guy comes over to me. Check this out. He says, "Oh, man, you're really, really good. You're really great, And then he said, "But you'll never make it. You're never going to make it because you sound too much like Al Green." The way he said it was like a knife cutting in me.
Wow.
First of all, I wasn't trying to sound like Al Green.
Right.
But he said that. I went in the bathroom and I couldn't hold back a couple of tears.
Wow.
I said, "Oh man, this guy just crushed me."
Yeah.
But I came back. But it was like that. That was another enlightenment cycle to the negative side of the industry.
Yeah. And we talk a lot about that here on this show. That suppressive element that gets out there is usually coming from people that it comes, they're trying to help you, give you some kind of critical advice or criticism, whatever you want to call it. And it's never really the right thing to listen to. It's always like,
no, absolutely.
And they're all out there, and it's usually from jealousy, or they're suppressive people. I mean, they're just, they're out there, and they need to control what's happening around them, or else they don't feel like they belong anywhere. But you made it through that, Now,
I made it through that, yeah.
Yeah. Give me just a 2-minute speech to somebody out there who's gone through that, who actually got who actually had that happen.
Hey, well, the bottom line, I didn't say anything to it. I didn't tell any of the band members. I didn't tell the management, because they would have been pissed if this guy did that to me. I didn't say anything. I just kept it to myself. I cleaned myself up, came back out. But the thing is, you got to know, the bottom line is, you got to feel that this is what you're supposed to be doing. Like I always tell people, I almost feel like I don't have a choice.
Right. Oh,
I'm supposed to be singing. I'm supposed to be singing. I'm supposed to be writing songs. That's what I do.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So even through life, I never really got serious about any kind of occupation out there. I mean, I've done jobs here and there, just to keep things above water, whatever. But I've always just kept the music going. I was in different groups, different bands, So the thing is, I would just tell a person, just be true to you. You're gonna get criticism. You're gonna get stuff. And I was fortunate because my parents never said to me, they never said, I never even felt an ounce of, why you just doing your music? You should take something like become some professional thing, like a lawyer, whatever. They didn't say anything. Yeah, they didn't run that game on me.
Right.
And I really respect them for that. It's like I love them for that, because they just I guess they saw that I was really serious about what I was
doing. Yeah, and like to any parents, I think you should, even if you're not that serious, but you want to pursue something like that. I think the parent, I'm a parent. I got 2 kids, and I would never tell any of my children, they should have something to fall back on. That's like the biggest thing you can say to show that you don't have really a lot of faith in them.
I got you.
You see what I'm saying? And that to me is really a heartbreaking thing, when you think about it. on all the artists that are out there going through stuff like this. So let's jump into some of your music, if that's okay. Well, we still have a lot of time, but I want to talk a little bit about this song because you mentioned a few things when we were talking before the show. You mentioned about civilizations, and I want to play it. It's like a 4-minute song, but I'm going to play a little bit if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure.
So let me see how I do this. Still learning my own software. This is so great that you're here. Hold on one second.
I'm glad. I'm so happy to be here. It's really cool.
It's awesome.
I wrote the song. I'm singing the song. I'm playing the instruments. I produced it.
Oh my gosh. So let's hear this.
More than over half the people in the world today are searching high and low for freedom. I can hear them say, help us build one. Come help us build one.
Come help us build one.
Yeah. Civilizations come and they go all throughout the ages of time. Won't you come join us? We're building one fine nation, civilization. I hope you understand one fine nation. That the world is in our hands.
Oh, I love this.
The second verse,
A sailor man, a carpenter, a fire or policeman, ministers all lend a hand to anyone who needs it. Help us build one. Come help us build one. Yeah.
I'm gonna play the whole thing. It's too good.
Civilizations come and they go all throughout the ages of time. Won't you come join us? We're building one fine nation, civilization. I hope you'll understand one fine nation. That the world is in our hands.
John, there's a rap that's coming up right now.
Oh yeah?
I got this young rapper to write this part.
Nice.
They call this the home and the land of the free. They build brick walls around the artist community. Never say less, but before you rest, let the sun shine on and help us build one. Communities built on trust like a head rush. You can't bust the sentence without saying what. Over who what says I cannot say when I say the same things that you might say. So never riff about the if of a kind. It's time to realize, open your ears and eyes. To be as one, you must be forced, but never caught shade, but never tamed by the human force. And each and every man, woman, and child, it's not an hour, but it's foul. To put a stop on the useful information, I gotta push up ahead for civilization.
Civilizations come and they go.
I love this.
All throughout the ages of time. Won't you come join us? We're building one fine nation, civilization. I hope you'll understand one fine nation. That the world is in our hands.
So good.
Thank you.
So it's so the message on
I
it.
want that song to go universal. I want that to go. I'm trying to create a movement, and I tell you, I didn't mention this to you, but like I want to do a fundraiser or something. I want to raise some funds. That picture you saw, the painting. That was done by an artist. Her name is Verlaine.
Right. You would tell me a little about your song inspired her, didn't it?
It inspired her to did a painting, and I said, you know what? I want that. I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt. And here's a T-shirt. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah. Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And on the back, I got civilizations # help us build one.
Nice. You got that
right. And I coupled it with these 21 precepts that I became aware of over time. Called Way to Happiness precepts. And I said, this is just some basic tools for man, because like I'm going like, we gotta get back down to basics.
Right.
You know, we got this person lying, we got this person killing, we got this war over there, we got these people, this and drugs, this and that. We got capitalism, we got this. I mean, it's a hodgepodge of confusion.
Right.
And I'm going like, let's get down to some basics. Like, what is the basic things we should do? Like the basic, like almost like the golden rules, like do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
That's right.
You know, this is what these precepts are about.
Yeah.
There's 21 of them. The basic one just talks about take care of yourself.
Right.
You know, if you're sick, get help.
Right.
Brush your teeth. Eat properly. Don't drink too much.
Yeah.
You know, it's, all kinds of things it talks about. But there's 21 of them. So anyway, I have that QR code on the back where someone sees it, they can just kind of flash it or whatever, and they get routed to the Way to Happiness Foundation, and they can find out more about those 21 precepts.
Wow.
They're like all over the world.
Yeah.
All over the world. It's like it's incredible.
It is a world movement.
So it's a world movement. So the thing I was saying is that I just did a dry run. I bought 6 of those T-shirts, and I wanted to give one to Vera, the artist. I said, okay, I want to give you one because, you know, hey, it's your work. She said, no. How much was it? You know, so I'm going like, what? I just want you to have it. So no. She wound up paying for it, and she bought one for her husband. And then another friend of mine, I was going to get him one. I was going to give him one because I was just telling, because these are people I know that are in business and stuff. And I said, you know, and they've helped me at different points in time. They got a restaurant. It's called Goodfellas Brick Oven Pizza.
Oh yeah.
They're in Staten Island. Mark and his brother, and I went blank on Scotty. Mark and Scotty.
Yeah. I know Mark.
And, yeah. So I told it to Scott. I said, Scott, man, I got this T-shirt. I'm looking at doing a whole mission with this thing. You know, like my song Civilizations, because you know my song, and I'm saying, you know, blah blah blah. And I said, I want you to have one. You know, and he says, no. How much is it? I'm like, I couldn't give it away.
You know what it is? It's really, people want art, you know what I mean? And they know that there is value to it, especially if they appreciate it. So they want, of course they don't want, you know, they want to actually pay for art. You know, it's been, I think that the last couple of years, I think it's sort of back on the rise again, because I think that the 90s brought the internet, and I feel that it kind of lessened. People just thought, oh, well, I just buy the song for $1, or I'll download the song for free, or I'll burn the CD on my computer and have it, you know, all those kind of things that, yeah, you can do that. Are you going to jail for it? No, but man, does that hurt? You know, does that hurt the artist? You know, and it really does. And I think when I think right now during this last 8 months with the whole pandemic situation, I think people have been at home appreciating life a little bit more, music, art. I mean, what have people have been doing when they've been home? They've been watching the artists on TV shows. They've been listening to the music by artists. Everything has been really, the entertainment that you have at home is artists. An artist
That's right.
designed this hat, an artist designed this
Yeah.
jacket. You know what I mean?
That's
So
right. That's right.
yeah. So for me, it's this song is like a perfect, almost like a jumping start point to like that civilization that you're talking about, because it really is.
Yeah.
The message is just incredible.
Thank you. Thank you. It was inspired, and you were talking about it. It goes right in to this whole thing about, you mentioned the word earlier. You said the word suppression,
Mhm.
And the negativity, the covert stuff that happens. I
Yeah.
mean, it goes right in. This was inspired by me understanding that more, understanding that this is what's happening on the planet. And I'm going, this is crazy. Got to do something about that,
That's right.
But I've also realized that man is basically good.
Mhm.
It's not everybody.
Right.
It's not everybody that's evil, that's negative, that's
Right.
trying to rip you off or whatever like that. That's why I got the lyrics says more than over half the people in the world today are searching to find oh Jesus, more than over half the people in the world today, hey, are searching high and low for freedom. I can hear them say, help us build one. See, I had to sing it.
You have to sing it to remember it. I love
That
it.
was real.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
so I love that movement. It's fantastic. Whatever I can do to help, obviously, please, I'm on board. Let me ask you a question about that, because we were talking a little bit about the suppression thing, and it is not only individuals, right? Because also industries, people, it's usually people, right? But it's always a person, right? But the industry also becomes a little bit tainted. And like Hollywood, for instance, right now, it's got this like black cloud over it because there's just so much negativity in it. But there's so many beautiful artists that are in Hollywood, and just artists in general that are just everywhere. And this thing has kind of like been really it's been a sad couple of years, from listening to what's happening with certain industries. How do you deal with that? Where do you sit on that? Like, what are your thoughts on the industry as a whole and the future of it?
Well, I like the fact that the internet is opened up to such a degree that you actually can kind of create your own music.
Mhm.
You can kind of you don't have to go to record companies and hope they pick you or select you or choose you.
Right.
And because that whole thing, they mold you in a lot of ways. You get a lot of restrictions. You can't do this, you can't do that. We'll put that song up, but you got to change the lyric in this part, or they'll try to put you in a certain category that may not be the one you're really feeling.
Right.
But they're telling you that that's what's selling right now. So there you go. As an artist, you just sold yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not. I like the fact that we have this moment in time that if you have the wherewithal, you can start to do your own thing and just take it almost from scratch.
Yeah.
To a final product.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Step by step, like that song "Civilization." I basically did that in the studio, just me. There's nobody else on that but me. I just was going to the studio religiously twice a week, and I'd sit with the engineer for about 2, maybe 3 hours, and I was just totally into it.
Yeah.
And with the background vocals, everything you hear is me. I think he might have did the drums actually.
Yeah.
In other words, he used the machine, the synth machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
To create. I didn't use live drums. I think he helped me with the drums, but everything else I did. I picked all the sounds, sounds, the quality of the sounds, and everything.
It's got such like wonderful Latin African rhythms in it, also, which I really.
Yeah, I like the environment. Of it. Yeah.
Very, very. Yeah, it kind of also reminded me a little bit of a Santana style, because I'm a big Santana fan, and he just last year he had an album called Africa Speaks, and if you haven't heard that album yet, you got to check it out. But
no, I haven't.
It has those rhythms in it, and I love that. I love those sounds. So doing a project, isn't it amazing when you can actually sit there and do your own from start to finish? You just did it.
Oh
Isn't
man,
that
I'm
the
just
best
so
feeling in the
psyched. I
world?
mean, I'm sorry.
Isn't that the best feeling in the world?
That's the best feeling in the world, especially for me. Like I told you, the best parts of performing and working on a song. When I'm composing a song is also a great moment, great experience, because what happens for me is that I could wake up in the middle of the night. And I got to the point where I used to just leave a piece of paper and a pencil
Oh yeah,
near my bedside, because I would wake up in the middle of the night and go, a title will come to me, or a lyric line will come to me, or maybe some line that I needed to put in a song that I'm already working on comes to me. And then to me, it's like a gift.
yeah,
It's a freaking gift, man. It's like
it
I
is.
don't, it's like I don't wait for it to come. I just know it's going to come.
Right, right.
I just kind of like just put it out there. Okay, this is what I'm working on now. And a song will come to me. I'll tell you, one song came to me like I heard this person say this word rendezvous, and something about the way he said the word rendezvous. I said, wow, that's a song. I wound up writing a song called Rendezvous, and I produced it, and yeah. So I mean, like, people are talking, and you'll hear things. I'll hear a title of a song, and it just kind of pop right out from what they're saying. They don't notice it; they're just talking. But the
Right.
way they said whatever, I said, that's a great idea. I'll write down. I'll make a quick note.
Yeah, yeah. I do the same exact thing. I was in a meeting. I was in a meeting here, and somebody said on the phone, somebody was on the phone, and they were like, "Oh man, I can't talk to Rachel." And I thought, I can't talk to Rachel. I thought, I can't talk to Rachel is either like a good short film or a title of a song
Mm,
or something, but there's something there, a TV
that's
show,
right.
a
That's
pilot,
right.
and I remember and I wrote
That's
it
right.
down, and it's the same
That's
way.
awesome.
Yeah, I think the same way. I'm always like listening, and I don't even have to really, and I'm sure you're the same way. It's not like you're really looking. It just hits.
No, no,
It just
no, no,
hits.
no,
Yeah, it just hits. It's
no.
a beautiful thing. It's a
Yeah,
beautiful
I
thing.
love it. I love it. I love it when it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole creative process. And when I'm in the studio too, just creating a song and listening, even figuring out the sounds,
Yeah.
because we'll play with sounds. I'll go to organ sounds. I'll go to guitar sounds, drums, just each one of those things. I don't go crazy with it, but
Right.
I'll just listen for this. No, that's not it. That's not it. And I'll usually know when it's it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the artists now have so much more opportunities than they may not realize it because some are still under the mindset that you need that record label to kind of like give you that front money, and then which is not your money, it's lending money and out, and then they want that back, right?
That's right. A lot of people get fooled with that.
They do. They get fooled. You give somebody $250,000 and you're like, here, you can quit your job, pay all your bills, and then you got the rest. You just, and they're thinking like, yeah, they're buying stuff. They don't
That's
realize
right.
that's an account. That's an expense account that you got to pay back when you
Hello.
sell units. You know what I mean? And if you don't sell any units, then you're on tour for the rest of your life trying to pay back that whatever that is. Not to mention the recording of the album, because they attach that on there too. They attach all that stuff
Oh
on
man.
the thing.
Yeah.
But it's so much more empowering now, where you can really, like you said, on the internet, produce your songs. You can sell them online. You can create downloads on all these platforms, and you get the money. It goes to you. It doesn't go to another party. It goes to you, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should go. So I love that. So are you working on anything right now? Any other new material? Are you planning like an album, Civilizations?
Yeah, I want to do. There's a whole album. There's a whole song. I got a song called "Welcome to Church." Basically, it's kind of boils down to kind of a spiritual kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to me, like, church doesn't necessarily mean that it's got to be in some kind of building. It doesn't necessarily have to be inside of an institution.
It could be in here, right?
Yeah, welcome to church. It's like, like get back to your own spirituality. Because, if you look up the word, I don't know, I forgot, I saw it somewhere. Spirit itself just relates to religion.
Right.
The word spirit just kind of relates to something religious. You know, if we just do that, I actually started a song. I can't remember right now. You know, I'm living my religion. I think I had a title. I didn't finish it. It's just one of those one of those lines you jot down.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, living my religion or something like that.
I like it.
In other words, I'm being true. I'm being ethical. You know, I'm holding to my integrity. You know, and no matter what, you know, it's like, and it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So I got a song called I got a song called Welcome to Church. I got a song called I Am Me. I don't know if I should just say all these titles, but you know, anyway. But I got anyway. But I have quite a few. I have about, you know, I got a good album ready to go. I just gotta, like, you know, like I said, what I'm doing right now is I do a fundraising thing.
Yeah.
You know, sell some T-shirts, get some folks to. This is not the only thing I'm doing. This is just one thing. I've got a lot of. I got a lot of, what do you call, a lot of things in the fire. You call it? I got a lot of things in the pans in the fire. But this is one thing that's a positive thing that I really feel good about. And I don't really want to make the money for me, particularly. It's, you know, like, not as a profit. I want to make the money, and so I can just push this album out there.
Sure.
But the thing is, on the back of the album, you saw that.
Yeah.
This QR code, it takes people to the Way to Happiness Foundation site, where they can find out more about these 21 precepts.
Right.
That's more important to me at this time, particularly in this pandemic, whatever other demics we got going on, time we're living in.
Right.
You know, this is like a confusion. It's a ball of confusion, you know?
Yeah.
Temptations had a song called Ball of Confusion back in the day.
That's right.
This is what we got going. This is what we got going on right now. Ball of confusion, man. It's like, it's like somehow we accept lies. You know, somehow, you know, whatever. There's something about it that we just kind of go, oh, well, he said that lie. Well, but now he's saying this, or he said that yesterday. You know, he's saying, it is kind of like, we don't go like, wait a second here. What's going on here?
Right.
You know, hold the press. Stop the presses.
But
you know,
I always find it that people are just so preoccupied with their own lives and just PTP, you know, or they have present time problems with.
This is true.
With so many things that they have to kind of deal with. Do you think that, you know, that's a big deal? You know, that's a big deal. And obviously, when people are not focused on when they don't have a purpose, you know, and I think survival is when survival becomes your purpose, that's not, you know, really that a survival, you know, it's not really survival itself. You have to have a purpose of doing something great. You know, you have to help people. You have to kind of, and I think that helping people is becoming very popular now. People are actually, you know, it's cool now to be cool. It's no longer cool to be like, yo, man, I don't care, or drugs.
Oh yeah.
That's actually kind of going away. That's kind of like boring now. People who do that are kind of like, you kind of suck. Now it's like, let's eat healthy, let's take care of ourselves, and let's help other people, and let's build, you know, grow a garden.
See, that's what I'm saying. See, the direction is there. People are feeling their way towards this. It's just that with these precepts, they're like written in stone.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, that's exactly what I was thinking. Right. Oh, yeah, I agree with that. Oh, yeah, right. That makes sense. You know what I mean? Because it's not something trying to convert you or do anything. It's basically just saying, hey, guy, you know, like, respect your fellow man or whatever, you know, blah, 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 you know?
Yeah, well, I've read them and they're practical. You know, it's almost like if you can't read any one of them and somebody's going to go like, no, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
it's like, yeah, it's like you can't disagree with it.
Right, you can't disagree with them. That's kind of the thing that I like about them. It's just like they just
it's almost like, you know. I'm sorry. We're just, the thing is, I'm enjoying talking with you, John.
Yeah,
I gotta watch my manners here because I notice I'm cutting you off.
No.
You say something, I say, oh wow.
You know, we also have a little bit of a delay. We have a little bit of a delay.
There is a delay. Yeah, there is a delay. Yeah.
So let's blame the delay and not our communication.
Okay. Yeah. Technical difficulties.
There you go. So go ahead.
Oh, gee, I lost my train of thought. What I was saying.
You were talking about, people's the precepts and but I think we kind
Well,
of
the
like
thing I was gonna, the thing I was gonna say was like it's almost like you can't say, if somebody says you should drink water every day, who's gonna disagree with that?
right, right.
You should have food in your system, nutritious food in your system. Oh, what do you mean I gotta have? What do you mean I gotta have nutritious food?
You should brush your teeth every day.
Brush your teeth. No, man, I'm not brushing my teeth.
You crazy? Well, that's just a rumor that they're saying.
Take a bath.
Right.
I'll take a bath once a month, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah, and that's
it's in that category. It's it's like that.
Yeah. So definitely, this is a huge undertaking, and I know you're well equipped to handle it. You have some great people also I know that you're working with, and like I've said before to everyone, that I really believe in what they're doing. I'm always available for whatever you need. If you need a guitar player for your album, I'm
well, that'd be awesome. I love your intro. Did you have anything to do with that? Did you have anything to do with that?
Not the actual music part of it, but I had actually originally my song in the beginning, and I thought it was good, but I needed something just to kind of like ten, so I
came
up with that. But yeah, no, I definitely been playing for a long time. I mean, since I was since I had my first guitar when I was 5, so
nice.
Playing is just part of it's again, it's one of those things like you said earlier. You have no choice. You know what I mean? I have no choice but to go there, and I have my amp and my guitars and all my stuff, and I have to play. And it's just you don't have a choice. You have to do it. I love that. So definitely, I'm always going to be a part of.
Well, I appreciate your offer.
Yeah,
definitely. You're good. You're good too, man.
Yeah,
I love working with other artists, different things.
Yeah, and marketing too. Like a lot of social media stuff that I do. I love to also help out with that as well. So I'm definitely on board for that. So let's get down. Yeah, absolutely. So I want to actually play a quick thing, just a few minutes of you playing on this, because I thought this was so freaking cool. I just wanted to play this quick video, and then we'll talk a little bit about, we'll wrap up on some motivational stuff and to help other artists out there and where they go if they need any help or anything like that. But let me play this quick clip here. And I did get permission. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's. So I don't. Do you know where this was? Oh, it says right there, Chance Theater.
Yeah, it's upstate. I think it says Stanhope or something.
Yeah, it says Stacks of Soul. Say the Chance Theater.
Oh, the Chance Theater. That's way upstate.
Yeah,
past Poughkeepsie.
All right, so let me just play this real quick because I won't play the whole thing because.
Yeah, we did a lot of R&B stuff like Otis Redding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You want to be free.
Oh, it's not, yeah.
My love is growing stronger. She becomes harder to me. Ooh.
Looking sharp.
It's been so wonderful. I can't stop now. My love is growing stronger as our prayer goes on. I've been loving you still long. Can't stop now. Oh, oh, I've been loving you don't make me stop now. Don't make me stop now. Don't make me stop now. Please, please, please. Don't make me stop now.
Woo. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I get a little emotional on some of these songs.
Yeah. I tell you, I mean, I just wanted to ask you, when you're in that moment,
Oh,
are you're like not on planet Earth, right? I mean,
I don't know where I am. I just like, it's such a great space.
yeah.
And I tell you, the thing that makes it so great is when I know that the band is right behind me.
Yeah.
You know, whenever I perform and I don't have to have my attention on the band, it's such a beautiful thing. Because then it's just me, the song, and the audience.
And that's it. Yeah.
That's it. You know, because I love communicating to an audience.
Yeah.
But if I got to stop thinking about, is this guy going to play that part right? Or, oh God, this is a spot where they always goof up.
Oh no.
You know, whatever like that. You know, but I don't have that. We had everything down.
Yeah, those guys are solid players. Yeah, I get emotional when I hear. I just love to hear just passionate artists, you know, when they're doing that, and you could always see it's sort of like guitar solos, you know, like you never think about you don't realize when you're going into a guitar solo. You just suddenly you're in this thing, and then you don't even realize when you come out of it either. You know, suddenly all you hear is suddenly the audience is applauding, and then you kind of almost wake up. You know, you kind of like, oh, what just happened? You know, where was I? And that's why guitar playing, like, you know,
yeah.
You just get lost in it. It's amazing. I
love
love it.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's awesome feeling. It's awesome feeling. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So we're at an hour, if you can believe that. We've actually, yeah, isn't that crazy?
Oh man.
Yeah, okay. So I wanted to actually just, you know, briefly, if we can just, you know, with your wisdom and your, you know, experience, maybe just give like just a quick, you know, little pep talk to any artists that are out there, maybe looking to do what you just did, what we just saw you do, you know, or at least they know they can do it, but maybe they're struggling, you know, just a message to the artists.
Well, you know, the thing is, if it's an instrument, and the vocal's an instrument too, but I mean, like, if you're playing guitar, you're playing piano, drums, whatever it is, you got to practice. You got to really make sure you're understanding the basics of your instrument. You got to understand it, you know? And so when you understand it, you can do more things with it.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So, and that comes from practicing. And practicing is like, I wasn't a great practicer, I'll tell you the truth. When I played trombone, I love the trombone, but I wasn't really a great practicer. I should have practiced more. But on hindsight, I should have practiced much more. You know, I always envy guys, not envy, but I always was amazed that I hear this guy, this cello player, she practices 4 to 5 hours a day or something like that. The hell is she practicing for 4 or 5 hours a day? You know, but I mean, like, and you know, like a chick career or something. These guys practice for hours, man. You know,
I know.
And but it pays off because then your instrument just becomes part of you.
Right.
You don't have your attention on your instrument.
Right.
You know, like, yeah, you know, like when you really practice, then you can just perform. You know, but if you got to think about what you got to do, where my fingering is on the guitar or that next chord on the piano,
right.
You're not entertaining anymore. You know, you're still in school. You're still at school.
And it's also stressful. So, it's stressful for the artist too. You know,
it's stressful. It's stressful, and it's stressful for the audience too.
Right. It is.
The audience love to see you having a good time.
That's right.
And when you're having a good time, they're having a good time.
That's right.
You know, but if they see that you're not totally on control of your thing, they're not happy, man.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
yeah. Knowing your instrument, that's like really an important thing. Because then you can play. Then you can just.
Then you can play. Yeah.
Play
then you can play. Yeah, and so practicing is, just you got to really learn the thing, and then that's the technical side of it. Okay, right. But the other part of it is that, like I said before, you got to have a purpose in doing that. You know, it's not just to pick up girls. You know, right. Like I know I sang with guys that all they really did, they were good singers, but they really weren't really into it for the singing of the songs. They went to it because they knew they could pull in some other chicks. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I'm the singer with the band. Blah blah.
Yeah.
That was never my game plan. I mean, I had my share of females and experiences, but I didn't go into it from that viewpoint.
Right.
You see, I really wanted to sing. I really, but one time my band, not my band, my group, before Crown Arts Affair, I had a vocal group. Each one of us we had 5 guys at one point, and each one of us was one of the Temptations. I was David Ruffin.
Okay.
My brother was Eddie Kendricks. Somebody else was Paul Williams, Otis Williams, Melvin Franklin. We had it down.
Right.
I used to do My Girl, Ain't Too Proud to Beg. That was me. And I love that guy.
Yeah.
But, and we used to practice every day. Yeah. Even back then, this is before I learned. This is when I was in high school. We had vocal rehearsals almost every day.
Yeah.
I used to ride my bicycle to, I lived downtown Brooklyn, and I used to ride my bicycle to Brownsville, East New York, to rehearsals. So that's a key. That's the best thing I can say. You got to practice. You got to really do it with a purpose. Can't do it because you're being made to do it. Like somebody's telling you go practice, and you don't want to do it. You're doing it begrudgingly. Right. You got to really know why you're practicing.
Right.
Don't just practice. You got to have a purpose. Why am I practicing? Yeah. So you want to get, so you're going to get in front of that crowd and perform and really do what you got to do.
Right.
If you're a songwriter and you're writing songs, study, listen to other great songs. Listen to people, find people that you like.
Yeah.
Artists that you like. Listen to what they're doing. What was the form of the song? Like what did they do? Verse, chorus. Did they do a bridge? Or what did they do? I love people I love all kinds of music. The Beatles, I did the Motown stuff, but I love all kinds of stuff. Simply Red, you name it. Anybody that was good.
Right. Yeah.
And I was so happy to be on RCA because guess what? Elvis Presley was on RCA.
Nice.
So I felt like I was in good company.
Yeah. Seriously.
It's like, and I loved Elvis Presley. I used to, you know what I liked about him? He commanded a crowd.
Oh, yeah.
He drew people. Anybody that drew lots of people, my attention went to them. Whether it was country music, rock, R&B, if they really commanded lots of people, I had to check them out. The Beatles,
Yeah.
man, I remember sitting right there on the floor when they came and they were on the Ed Sullivan Show when they first came to United States.
Yeah.
The crowd, people were fainting in the or girls
Yeah.
were fainting and hysterical. I mean, like, what's up with these guys?
Yeah.
You know?
What are they doing? What are
I knew I wasn't going to get my hair like that, but I was definitely
Right.
I knew I was definitely going to check out their music. And they have
Right.
a lot of great songs. I don't know if there's any song that I don't like by the Beatles. I don't, you know,
Yeah,
it's,
no,
it's something about every one of their songs that, you know, just like it, you know.
yeah, yeah. So that,
Anyway.
that's awesome. You know, I think it was I think I heard Will Smith talk about this in an interview, and maybe he didn't originate it, but he was talking about talent and skill. You know, he was talking about, and it's kind of like what you were just saying, you know, about we're born with talent. You know, some people are born talented, but what do they do with that talent? Do they develop that talent and that skill level, like you said, to really get that talent to really to shine? And that's really what we're talking about, because I think a lot of people are out there who maybe don't practice a lot, or maybe they, you know, they have the talent for it, but they got to get that skill now, really, to go out there and to be able to really work and to polish it up, you know, and make it really shine.
Totally.
Yeah, so that's like a big thing. So, well, I feel like you and I could probably just talk music for like another
on and on and on, man. You know, like you know, kick back a nice glass of wine and just chill out.
and I would love to have you come back again, and let's just do this again, because we could definitely break down a lot of these things and talk more about the precepts as well, which I think is important, and all these other amazing things that we've talked about today. So I appreciate for your time. Thank you to be. Thank you for letting me show those clips that were amazing and play your song, Civilization, which is fantastic.
Well, thank you. Thank you, John. I mean, I felt really honored that you invited me onto your show. I mean, like, I saw one of your shows and I said, well, this is really cool. I like this. You know, I like this. You know.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. So we'll definitely do this again. All right.
You got my vote.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. Have a good night.
All right, on. Okay, hang
you
on.
too. Don't hang up there. Hold on.
Okay.
All right. So that was awesome. Julius Dilligard. Did you see that performance? What? I was like at the end of that, and I've seen it, like, I'm not even kidding you. I've seen it like 7 times. I saw it like 7 times, and that was just like, I saw it like 3 times today, and I saw it like 4 times the other day, and then I saw it again now, so it's 8 times. But that last section really just, I don't know, I get like emotional, because when you hear somebody perform with that type of level and with that type of passion and confidence, but it's not confidence in the sense that they know it's just confidence because they love what they're doing, and they know that what they're doing is actually helping the world. And that to me is a beautiful thing. So I was extremely grateful that Julius was, came to our show. Thank him for, thank you so much for being on. And definitely I will have him back again. So anyway, thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate it. And as I end every show, peace.